I don't want a tube in your stomach. And she didn't listen to me. That's what she got. And my friend Daniel, he didn't like to take his medicine either. And he got a tube in his stomach.
Under federal rules, consent for children to take part in drug trials has to be given by their parent or guardian. But the kids at Incarnation have no independent voice. The body that is their legal guardian, the ACS, is the same body that makes the children available for trials.
You would not expect too many parents to volunteer their loved children for such experiments. This means that if the researchers want to do the experiment on children, they're going to look for vulnerable children whom they can get. And when you have city government agency accommodating them, that is the biggest betrayal of those children. They don't have anyone but the city agency that is their guardian on paper, but not in human ways.
For over 10 years, Vera Shirav has battled almost single-handedly with the New York authorities to come clean over the use of children in drug trials.
They tested these very highly experimental drugs, phase 1 and phase 2. Why didn't they provide the children with the current best treatment? That's the question that we have. Why did they expose them to risk and pain when they were helpless? Would they have done those experiments to their own children? I doubt it.
ACS?
When we spoke to the ACS early in our investigation, they told us that no child was selected for trials without a long process of decision-making.
I would absolutely reject the idea that they go through a process. Yes, they go through a process, but it is on paper only. For example, the city department created a panel, an ethics committee that approved the experiments that were conducted at Incarnation House. There's only one little pesky detail. The panelists all come from hospitals that conduct the trials, so they all are stakeholders in saying that it was perfectly all right.
Most of the children in the trials are from New York's poorest districts. Many were born to drug-addicted mothers. Over 98% of children in foster care in the city are black or Latino. But in New York City, where the ACS was given special powers by former Mayor Rudy Giuliani, even professionals realize they are fighting a losing battle. Jacqueline Horja, the nurse who had once administered the drugs to children at Incarnation, was about to discover just how difficult it really was. She'd decided to add to her existing family by adopting 2 young girls she'd grown to love at the home.
They were half-sisters, and the younger of the 2 was pretty much immobile, didn't know how to walk, didn't know how to play, didn't speak much, didn't know how to show her emotions or feeling whatsoever. And her sister was the opposite. She was hyperactive, couldn't sit for a minute, couldn't be still for a minute, and wouldn't eat. And the younger of the 2 overate, so it was a complete mess. I gave them all that I could, on every level. I gave them the good quality foods, the rest, the best private schooling they could get, occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy, tutoring, the best psychologists I could find on all levels, and I just didn't seem to be making any headway. And the only thing that was left was the medication that I was giving them.
Okie doke.
Jacqueline decided to take the children off the drug regime which Incarnation had insisted upon. The results were almost instantaneous. The older girl began eating properly for the first time.
She would ask for seconds and thirds, and it started showing on her body. When we swam at a swim club that we go to, she had a swimsuit on. About a month or two after I took her off the medication, I just looked at her with those loving mother eyes, just seeing a daughter look beautiful, rounded out, muscular, strong, healthy. It was a wonderful sight. The younger daughter, I would say the main change after I took her off the medication, it felt that her nerves became more and more healthy. And I taught her how to walk, run, jump on the trampoline, play, ride the bicycle, swim. And it was a joy to watch her.
I remember the first Christmas when they all got new hats and they sat in the corner, all three of them together next to the Christmas tree in their new hats, surrounded with their presents. And Eileen had this little shy smile, Olivia beaming from ear to ear, and Leah sitting over them.
And on Christmas morning, I looked and there was the faintest red in the horizon, so I turned on the light, they all got up, we opened our presents, you know, our stockings, and we started yelling out the window, "Thank you, Santa Claus!" And then Mommy came stomping down the stairs. "How dare you guys, it's only 1 o'clock in the morning."
Not long after those Christmas celebrations, there was a visit from the ACS.
It was a Saturday morning, and they had come a few times unannounced, so when I saw them at the door, I invited them in, and they said, "This is not a happy visit." And at that point, they told me that they were taking their children away. And I was in shock. I couldn't believe it. And it's a home day. They're in their pajamas. And
The social worker involved in the case was Demetrius Travis. He was on holiday when a temporary caseworker arrived at their door with the ACS.
The family did not agree with the drugs that were being given to these children who had HIV, and as a result of the parents not agreeing with the medicinal, I guess, regimen that was being administered to the children, when it was learned that that regimen was not being followed, the children were taken back into foster care.
Did that decision upset you?
It bothered me, yeah, because I can remember how well off these children seemed to be, and that wasn't just my opinion. That was the opinion of this mental health professional who had dealt with these children over a period of, I would say, a year and a half, 2 years.
As a result, Jacqueline was taken to court and convicted of child abuse.
Where do all they know?
I don't know. I'm not allowed to know.
Jacqueline's greatest fear is they've been returned to Incarnation Children's Center or a similar home in New York, where they might be subjected to experimentation.
Well, it is shocking that in New York City, experimental drug treatments are being used on children who are in foster care.
Even senior politicians in the city have found it impossible to get information about the trials. Bill Perkins is Deputy Majority Leader on New York City Council.
We do know that several have passed away during the course of these experiments, and we know that there are still some involved. And there's been somewhat of a secrecy about the whole matter, I must say. It has not been easy to get through the bureaucracy as to exactly what this is all about.
In a mass grave owned by the Roman Catholic Church close to Manhattan, over 1,000 children's bodies, including some who were enrolled in the trials, lie beneath a tarpaulin. Officially, their deaths are recorded only as